This is part 2 of a tutorial to bind your own fanfiction. If you followed part 1, then you've got a fairly completed typeset, although it's perhaps a little basic. So in this part, we're going to use fonts and graphics to customize and stylize the typeset a little bit more. We're going to start with the font for the body of the document. Well, maybe this isn't the sexiest place to start. It can have a huge impact on the overall length and readability. If you go to the style and the font section, you can change the actual font, or you can just change the font size if you're happy with the font that's already there. I'm decreasing this from 10 to 9.5. It's a small change, but it's going to have a huge impact on the length of the document. Personally, I like small fonts and narrow margins. However, if you want it to be a little bit easier to read, I recommend increasing the font to a size that's more comfortable for you to read. You can play around and adjust it as many times as you need to until you're happy with it. The next thing I'm going to do is start customizing the chapter headers. I already have the Morpheus font downloaded, which is the custom font that's used a lot for Manacled. But if you don't have it, then you can easily download it from a free website like dafont.com. All you have to do is search for that font and download it and save it into your computer. Similarly, there's other cool fonts in here like Runes, which can be a really cool way to stylize your document as well. So feel free to go and check it out and find whatever font you love. Once I'm happy with my fonts, I'm going to go ahead and upload some artwork to arrange with my chapter header. I found this image on Google search. It's a pendant of a set, which is the necklace that Hermione has her Heart of Isis hidden in. But anyway, I'm going to upload this directly into the header behind my chapter text. And I am going to set it so that it shows up behind the text. Now everything is sort of laying over it and the picture's behind. At this point, I can just go ahead and manipulate it, shrink it down, maybe rotate it, orient it how I want. Really, this is where you can start to customize your document and make it really personal. I'm also going to play with the settings around my header spacing. So up in the styles, I can adjust the amount of space before and after the text, the chapter 1 text, and just play with it until I'm happy with how it looks on the page. This is definitely an iterative process until I get something I like. I'll go back and adjust where the picture is in reference to the spacing, and eventually I'll land on something that I'm happy with. The next thing I'm going to do is insert a drop cap at the beginning of the chapter text. I love drop caps. They're such a simple way to customize, but then really make a big impact. So if you go over to insert drop cap and then customize, you can pick the style of drop cap you like. You can change the font and you can change the number of lines that were dropped. Again, just go ahead and play with it until you find something that you're happy with. You can choose different fonts from the chapter header, or you can choose the same one. It's really just whatever you like doing to customize. The nice thing about using styles and putting the picture in the header is that all of the subsequent chapters are going to match exactly. Unfortunately, you will still have to do drop caps individually for each one, but it does save you a lot of trouble with the actual chapter header and picture. If you want a different picture for every chapter header, then don't put it in the actual header. Just arrange the picture behind the font or around the font how you want. That way it'll be different for everyone. Once you're happy with your headers, there's about a bazillion other things that you can do to the body of your document to customize it. I like to add in graphics for section breaks whenever they show up. It's just a simple way to personalize it. I've also seen people do some really amazing things with like formatting newspaper articles or formatting like text message bubbles. Really, it's just whatever you can come up with creatively that you want to put in your document, go for it. There's really no limit. Once you're happy with all of your stylized elements, I recommend going through a couple more passes just to make sure there's no weird spacing in the document. So I would format the text around the pictures once I'm happy with how the chapter headers are, and make sure there's no like weird hanging lines or anything. But I would save that until the very end once you've finished your chapter headers and any other graphic elements so that the spacing is good and ready to print. In the next video, I'll talk about how to print, fold, and press your typeset, and then we can get into the actual physical binding.